Well, welcome back to part 12, and believe it or not, this is my 100th video, though it's not that I'll be uploading to YouTube for this channel. But actually, it's not really all that significant a number because a lot of those were teaching videos during COVID and stuff, and they all have to be sorted out and fixed and probably removed. But anyway, here we are, part 12. We are coming from the Bridge of Khazad Dum. Let's go back up and have another look at it. There's the Bridge of Khazad Dum header coming up for us. There's an orc doing a bit of lurking. And we're going to go right up here and we're going to see... Oh, got to be careful. Don't want to fall into the bottomless depths of Mordor. Or no, Khazad Dum. Okay, so there, it's all the way down there, and that's... yes, a long way down. And that's the way Gandalf went. Spoilers, I'm afraid. If you haven't read Lord of the Rings yet, for goodness sake, go and read it. There's a link in the description of this video to go and buy a copy from Amazon. So why don't you do that and make me a little bit of tiny amount of money? Maybe. Who knows? I think about 1,000 people have to do it before I even get sent a check, so let's not worry about it too much. Just go there, get the book, read the book, and enjoy it. Then come back here and you'll find out that there are spoilers in this video, so you just got to watch out for it. And I've already spoiled one thing for you, but by the time you've read the book and got to this point, you'll have probably forgotten what I said, and you've maybe watched the videos or the movies anyway. And that's what I want to talk about today, Jackson's movies. So we're going to see how far we get in 15 minutes or so, and we're heading now with the remaining members of the Fellowship. We're heading for the Dimril Dale, the exit of Moria. The orcs were all trapped on the other side of the chasm, so they have to run the long way around, and the Fellowship have a chance to get out of here. You know, there used to be at one stage in the most common line in movies was "Let's get out of here," up until about 1990, and then I think it became "We're in," as somebody hacked into some computer. It seemed to appear forever. I don't know what it is now. I haven't watched a movie in a long time, really, or anything seriously. I've spent far too much time doing this kind of stuff. Even playing Lotro is more interesting. But talking about movies, let's talk about Jackson's movies. Weren't they an extraordinary achievement? I mean, you could be critical of lots of choices that he made. Maybe even some choices that he made. Maybe lots. But in the end, he had a concept and he followed it through and did an absolutely amazing job with Lord of the Rings. To do it in 3 movies was incredible. I mean, that's really packing in the content, and that was what... We'll talk about The Hobbit another time. That was probably the problem with The Hobbit. But with Lord of the Rings, so much content to get into 3 movies. And he achieved that amazingly, and the special effects, the models, the filming, the way that he created the hobbits and the dwarfs and the humans and the elves as all different stature and sizes was really a triumph of cinematography. So we're just moving out. Here we are in the Dimril Dale. We're heading down Nudmegum, it's called here. That's what the dwarfs must have called it. And we're running away from Mordor. Now the Fellowship came out in the mid-afternoon. It looks like it's kind of evening here, or possibly morning. Not quite sure. Which way is that wind? That shadow falling? Would need the compass to work it out. We're heading east, so that shadow's coming from the... Seems like it's coming from... No, we must be heading north. That shadow's coming from the east. This is early morning, I think, if I'm right. We'll find out soon enough if it gets dark. So we're going to go down and have a look at the lake, Glimmermere, I think they call it. The dwarves call it. So as they came out, Gimli and Frodo went off to have a quick look at the lake, and if we get into the right spot, what we see is that it reflects stars even though there are no stars above. You see that? And this is in keeping with the game. There's even the moon. Do we see the moon? The moon isn't there either. Maybe it is. Let's have a look. No. So let's get into Drongo's my character here. Drongo's head, and you can see the stars reflecting in the lake. There's the Dimral Stair, and this is the road down which the Fellowship would have come had they succeeded in crossing through the Redhorn Pass. But we're not going to go that way. We're going to head for Lothlorien, which is essentially the next stop. So yes, Jackson's movies, I mean, he made he kind of changed a few decisions on the way. Sauron was always going to be a tricky character to portray, and he came out as a kind of a giant sword swinging geezer in the first movie, as the host of the West was destroyed by, or the host of the good guys was destroyed by most of his orcs, and then he came out to fight, and then Isildur cut the ring from his hand and stuff like that. So anyway, then later on he just became the big eye in the tower, and that was okay. I think it was a difficult thing to, in some ways, a little bit like the shark in Jaws, where holding back the bad guy and keeping him out of sight the entire time. In Jaws they did it really in the original movie because the dummy shark was so bad, it was so obviously fake, but it actually worked really well that you didn't see it. And having those threatening presences offline or off screen where you can't see them is really an effective method of allowing the audience to suspend their disbelief and to make up whatever kind of scares them the most. Sometimes you want to leave it to your audience to do the special effects for you, because the brain is an amazing thing. So anyway, here we are, and we can maybe get another look at this lake from up here. There was a stone, Durin stone somewhere. I don't know where they're at. I don't actually know where it is, where you can look into Glimmermere and see the stars. That might be it there. That's it standing up there. That must be Durin stone. It's mentioned in the book, and that's where Frodo and Gimli stood and looked into the lake to see the stars, even though, oh, the stars are coming out, so it must have been evening. I've completely messed up my timings. But anyway, here we go. Heading for Lothlorien. And in the game it's kind of fun as you run down here. You can't get into Lothlorien initially, and if you try you get shot. For the first time I came down here I tried to run into Lothlorien and I got pelted with elven arrows and killed. That was hilarious. But so you have to become a friend of Lothlorien or something before you get in, or at least you used to have to. I don't know, I haven't done it in a long time. And you can start picking up some friendship points, reputation points earlier in the game anyway, so it's not such a big deal. But the very early game was quite lethal actually. It died quite a lot. Now it's very straightforward to get through the game, and they've produced some pay to win characters like the Brawler. You pay your money, you get the Brawler, and the Brawler can pretty much defeat anything. But anyway, that's the game. What else about Jackson's trilogy? What choices did he make that were wise? Let's talk about the good stuff. Well, leaving out Tom Bombadil was probably the best choice, because he doesn't really add to the plot, has to be said. He is mentioned a couple of times in the book, but we'll do a video on Tom Bombadil at some point in the future. There's reasons why Tolkien put him into the novel, but really no reason to put him into the story of The Lord of the Rings. The other major omission is the very last bit, the Scouring of the Shire, which is, I think, a really important chapter in the book to bring closure to the story of all four hobbits. In some ways, it's the Scouring of the Shire that shows you how much the hobbits have grown during their adventures. In some ways, everything happens to them during the main journey to dispose of the ring, and they haven't got much control over what's going on. But if you take the Scouring of the Shire out of it, what you do is you remove some of their own personal agency, and I think maybe that wasn't the best decision to remove it, but on the other hand, it's trying to fit all that content into one movie was some choices had to be made, and I guess that was one that went by the wayside. It didn't really include all the other characters, I suppose, so they got dropped. They would have been dropped out of it, and might have ended the film with another ending. And I think was it one of the famous actors in America basically came on and said after the third movie, he said, it's too many endings. So you do have that problem with it, because they destroy Sauron. They get the ring into the volcano. They win the big battle at Minas Tirith. They have the wedding. They head off to the Grey Havens, and then right at the end, Sam comes back home and says, well, I'm home, and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of endings already, and if you add the Scouring of the Shire in, that would be another major ending. In fact, you'd be really starting a whole new plot and then getting an ending in before the ending. So probably a good decision, but a pity really. In the book, it really does complete the story for the hobbits. As we come into Lothlorien, the Fellowship crossed the river and took shelter on a talon or a flat for the night while the elves went off and dealt with the orcs. And then, as they were guided through Lothlorien to see Celeborn and Galadriel. Now we're heading down here. We're going to the first place they go in the movies, in fact, and the first place they go in the book is Caras Galadhon, which is another resting point before they get to the main elf city in Lothlorien. But as you can see, these are the Malorn trees with their golden leaves, and it's called the Golden Wood in the book, and again portrayed beautifully in the movies by Jackson. So what else about the movies? There were a few little twists that Jackson tried to put in to add a little bit of extra suspense, I guess, into a movie that where nearly everybody who went to see the movie had already read the book. It's the other way around now. A lot of people will have seen the movies before they read the book. But when the movies first came out, many of the people who first went to the movie would have been people who had read the book, read the novel, and Jackson was clear, aware both that he was making design choices that other people weren't necessarily going to agree with, but also that everyone who came to see the movie already knew what happened, and it's a real trick. It's a really tricky thing for a filmmaker to tell a story where everyone already knows what's going on. So there are a few little design choices. He put more women, or he got. There are very few women in the book that play any kind of significant role in the story, and so in the movie, Arwen takes the place of Glorfindel. We talked about Glorfindel and Arwen probably when we got to the last bridge, and so it's a long way to this place, isn't it? It's a bit of a trip. Anyway, we're going to keep going and see if we get there. Yes, so Arwen was elevated into a kind of main role, and Éowyn seemed to get a little bit more love in the movies than she got in the books. So these things were good choices, I think. And here we are, Caras Galadhon, the heart of Elvendom on Earth, or Middle Earth as it were. And here we are heading up, and we'll get ourselves onto the flat here. So there you go, Peter Jackson's movies. I'll put a link to them down the bottom. You can probably buy them from Amazon. I've got an Amazon account as well, so yeah. If you decide you want to get yourself an Amazon copy of the movies or watch them on Amazon, you might be able to go there and do that. And up here we see a few of our fellowship. Here is Gimli and Legolas. And in fact, down below we'll catch up with a few hobbits as well. In fact, I think everybody's here pretty much except for Boromir. Let's have a look. Around the corner we have... Oh, remember my character, the story's moved on with my character. You see that flash? That was us standing next to Frodo, who's carrying the ring. It's all evil. So we can feel that evil. There's Sam. And we wander around here. Pippin and Merry have gone wandering, as is their wont. I don't know where Aragorn is, or Boromir. Up at the top there we had Legolas and Gimli. I have a feeling Aragorn might be somewhere about here. Let's have a look. Doesn't matter, really. So there you go. Peter Jackson's movies, top class. There are some things I would criticize about his design choices, but we'll leave that until another video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Nice to get back in the saddle and do a little bit of Lotro, because I've been kind of busy the last few days. So it's just nice to relax, do a bit of Lotro, get another step in the journey made, and we'll head back up here and talk to the two friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Hit a subscribe button or join or like or whatever it is you like, whatever you do. If you've got this far, you're obviously enjoying it. I'm sure all I need is, a few people to enjoy, and I'll feel that there's somebody coming with me on the journey. There you go. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.